So, yes. When I was a kid, I grew up in a very, very religious house, and that was a good thing. It's not a bad thing. But in my very religious family, I had a very specific worldview, and my worldview was, after 18 years of religious education and living at home, was that I was a speck of dust. It wasn't a depressive thing. It wasn't, oh, woe is me. It was just that the God of the universe is a very big God, and there's a lot going on. So of course I wasn't high on the priority list. And I was fine with that. But there was some problems with me not knowing what my value was, so to speak. I had never held a job. Which I'd gone through high school and never gotten a job. And it was time to go away to college, and so I went to a conservatory, to an arts conservatory, because that's how you make money, is to go to an art school and after you leave. And so I went to my art school, and to my surprise, when I got there, the worldview was not anything like what mine was. Instead of it being, you're a speck of dust, it was, the world is made for you. And so I didn't know exactly which to buy into. Was I a speck of dust, or was the world made for me? I didn't know what the value should be, what my price tag exactly should be. So I went through my first year of college. I wore a lot of black, did a lot of modern dance. But we came to our second year, and we were finally able to do productions. We were able to do plays, and I was very, very pleased. And we were going to be doing a play by a playwright named Lanford Wilson. The play was going to be called Balm in Gilead. And it's about, in New York in the late 60s, a small coffee shop that is inhabited by, of course, it's a Lanford Wilson play. So you have your druggies, you have your prostitutes, you have your children from your kids from the small towns coming to the big city. And so I go in for it, and coming from my religious background and having so little value of myself, of course I get cast as Tig, the prostitute. So there's that. And so they teach us all the things that we need to know to be a heroin-addled prostitute in the late 60s in New York. And so, of course, I learned how to smoke, which I did not, but I got quite good at that. And then they taught us how to appear high, which I tried to learn that. I wasn't fantastic at it because I had shunned any narcotics from my experience. I felt that would be going a little too far, but we had to be drunk at some points too, so I had to figure out how to be drunk. And of course there was being a prostitute. And so I had to learn how to, proposition people, cash for sex. And I wanted so badly by age, I had my plan that at age 23 I would be nominated for my first Oscar, and I would lose, but it would be okay because I'd only be 23. But then at 27 I would be nominated again, and this time it would be for a very serious British drama, and I would win. And so to be on the track towards this, I needed to be an excellent method actor. So I wasn't going to get high. That was way too far out there. But so I got drunk for the very first time. But it wasn't like a hairy, scary drunk. It was more like I drank a lot, and then I got my notebook out, and I was like, I feel. Blacked out, wake up the next morning, and there's not a lot to work with there. But I still had this problem of opposing worldviews. And so I was in a relationship for the very, very first time. It was the first time I had ever been intimate with someone. And in this relationship I didn't have I didn't feel valued because it was my first time ever being with someone, and it wasn't their first time. And so I didn't know exactly what to expect. I didn't know whether I should be worshipped, whether I should be thrown to the curb. I was living with the person, but I wasn't comfortable with it, and so I didn't know exactly what I was worth still. And so I'd done the alcohol thing. I'd watched a bunch of my friends getting high, and I had really great notes on that. So I had those two things. But we'd been told that during the production, we would be going to the audience, and we would be, as they were coming in, and we would ask them, you know, how much do you have? Except we had accents, we'd be like, how much do you have? And so and we would proposition the audience members for sex. So it would be a nice experience for them. But I wanted to know how to do this authentically. So where does one turn? Craigslist. That's right. If you want to sell a couch, an RV, yourself, Craigslist is the place to go. My excuse was this play, though, and so I was using that as kind of the buffer. And really, what it was me trying to figure out, was I a speck of dust, or was the world made for me? How much was I worth? What was my price tag? What was my value? So I put a picture, put a posting up, and before long, of course, the email comes back, and I get an address, and stupidly I get into my car, and I'm heading towards suburbia, and I come to this nice neighborhood, not like what I was expecting, and I don't want to park too close to the house, so I park about a block away, which is great for a getaway, in case, you know, he had been. And so this guy, I see him coming out of his house and looking at me as I'm walking up the driveway, and he's a middle-aged man, and he's a little heavy-set, but not repulsive. I don't know why he would be doing this, and he looks really scared, and I'm really scared. And so I go into his house, and he asks me would I like a drink of water, and so I figure, well, this is putting off something, so I'll go with that. So, yes. Water is great. And so soon enough, we go into the bedroom, and he asks me if I would take off all of my clothes. Well, that's what I'm there for. So as the actor that I'm trying to become, I want to remember all of this. So in my mind, I'm writing it all down, but also while I'm doing this, I'm thinking, I am not worth anything. I am in this stranger's house, taking my clothes off for money because I want to be good in a play that I won't even get paid for. So I'm standing there completely naked. And this man takes off all of his clothes and he asks if I would help him out. And I'm mortified and I'm speechless. And I can see that he is just as scared. And I think back about how I was raised and was this the life that I wanted to pursue? Did I really want to have these types of experiences, be it on stage or in movies, or did I want to do something where I felt that it would actually give me value? And so he began, and it was more of an exercise in determination than in pleasure. And he asked if I would join him again, and I said no, and so soon enough he finished off. And then, as we went over to the dresser, he got out his wallet from his pants, and he took out a 20, and he took out another 20, and 60, and 80, and 100, and 120, and 140, and he said, "Is this enough?" He was about to cry, and so was I. And so he gets to 260, and I said, "I think that's enough." And so I put my clothes back on, and I'm about to leave his house. And he asks if he can give me a hug. And I realized that this man has been paying to just have somebody give him the same value. And I realized that it wasn't, I am a speck of dust, or the world is meant for me. It's not either or, it's both and. And that I could hold both at the same time. And that the only value that I would have would be the value that I placed on myself. Thank you.